Hi guys, welcome to the Chelsea Skidmore Show. I'm here today with my guest Khalyla, co-host of the Tiger Belly podcast.
Is that my camera?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
Okay.
We always like to be camera ready here.
Okay. Yes.
Your
I do.
skin looks incredible.
Thank you. I asked you if this was audio only. I was hoping it was audio only. But you were like, no, fix your face.
Yeah,
So I was
it
like,
looks
all right.
amazing.
Thank you.
What did you do?
No,
You have really good skin though.
I
begin
don't.
with.
I have eczema.
Oh really?
So that's why I have to be extra careful about what products I use because everything just causes a flare up.
Oh, do you have a lot of allergies to, or it just gets like rosacea-y?
It's not rosacea. It gets very dry and plaquey. So it almost looks like dandruff in the face.
Yeah.
But red dandruff. And it's very, very itchy. And it travels down to my neck and chest.
Oh my God. How long have you had that going?
Since I was a teenager, since
Okay.
I moved from the Philippines, it's like my skin could not adjust to the lack of humidity here. And it just turned into one giant flaky mess.
And now I want to talk about I like get in my head because I really like to be a chronological person when I go on the pod, but then I
You
also
can't
want
be
to talk
that
about
way.
the skincare. My brain, I know, I
You
go
know-
in a million different.
When I just did a podcast with Dr. Drew,
Yeah.
and I went in there thinking that I was going to go in some very like clinical chronological order.
Yeah.
And I bombed so hard on his show because I had it fixed in my head and he asked me questions that were not in order and I short-circuited.
Well, is that what you were saying then about what your mind does when it's interesting because like you have certain things you want to say and then it takes like, I always like feel like I can't have dead air because I used to have a radio show in college. I would have a lot of dead air because I'd be doing coke while I was doing it. So, and I, got kicked off
Yeah.
from doing it. But I feel like, so then when I have like a second where I have to think, still I have that like traumatizing feeling.
Does that apply to when you do stand-up? Can you sit with the silence or are you like Bobby where you have to fire right away?
No, I can. I could sit with it. I'm going to turn off the overhead lights, Mike. Something always happens here. Well, I feel better now already that you told me that the camera that you guys use is on a vacuum cleaner
is, yeah.
for your podcast.
Yeah,
and now
This is very high tech for me.
Is
I'm
it
not
really?
used to having a real set.
Really?
Yeah.
How's the lighting right now? Now I can it's good.
Does it accentuate my mustache though?
No. Do you
Okay,
think
good.
you have one? Because I do.
You
From
don't
the
have-
sun. It's from.
It's melasma. It's not hair.
I don't know anyone else who has this.
It is.
Can you see mine?
No, I can't. But
Be-
see, also the older I get, my nasolabial folds really bring my melasma out. So I look.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but there's nothing I can do about it.
You don't have filler
Over here
anywhere?
in my cheeks.
Anywhere.
I'm
I do
Filipino. I have
too.
a fat face.
I know. Filipino faces are my favorite, especially Filipino lips. You can always
Filipinos
recognize
have big lips.
because I went to college in Hawaii, so like most people there were Filipino.
Yeah.
And so I could just like really recognize a Filipino face. I guessed that you were Filipino when I saw you.
Yeah. I mean, if you lived in Hawaii, you can spot us a mile away.
Yeah, but the lips are my favorite. So really, like,
Tell me about Filipino lips, Chelsea.
It's kind of like it's really cute. I don't want to say it's a duck lip, but it's a cute, like if there was a cute cartoon of a duck,
Yeah.
that to me is like the shape of the lips, and it's always like more like pouty up.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I should show you my niece's picture.
Yeah.
My niece has that.
It's like
tucked up lip.
pouty, and a lot of white girls get surgery to have that. I know girls who have, and it's like they get it like pressed up. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of Filipino girls like It's like the shape of the lips is like a certain way.
I find it so interesting that you asked me, like, you know how over here a lot of women they try to get fillers to sort of like fatten their cheeks a little bit
Yeah.
or lift it. In Asia, it's the opposite. We want a slim, not fat face, not wide face. So I think that a lot of women get Botox in their masseter muscle to give the appearance of a more slender face. Because what I have is not cute. They don't like this, the width.
Really?
But over here, they're like, oh, that's so cute. Do you get fillers on your cheeks?
Yeah, it looks like your face is the face that everyone. Essentially, it's all like the right area. Do you at all?
Ask
Have
a
you
Korean
gotten
woman.
anything?
No.
Oh my god!
Ask a Korean lady and she'll tell you my face is not ideal for Korean cinema.
It's Korean cinema. What is Korean cinema?
You look at all the boys, like the idols in Korea, they have a very feminine,
Yes.
slender
Yes.
face. That's what they like there.
Oh, okay.
This
Oh,
is
I get
not.
it. So then they're creating more of a cheekbone instead
Right.
of like a rounder.
They don't like the square face.
I think I kind of have a square face.
No, you don't. You have a very slender face like my sister. You.
Bobby makes fun of my face.
What does
He's
he
so
say?
mean.
It's love. That's the
I
only
know.
way he knows how to show
I
love.
actually, you know what's funny? It's like, for some reason, I can brush off because he likes to tease like his openers.
Is that what you call it? It's verbal assault.
He used to come up to me and choke me.
Yeah. That's
And
love.
stuff. He stopped doing it, but for some reason, I don't get affected by it. I don't know why. I'm really happy. Because like other people, like other comics will like say a lot of like mean stuff to me, or they'll like be making fun of you and stuff, and like he does that a lot, or like he'll be like kind of moody, and like for some reason it doesn't get to me.
He loves you.
Really?
He loves you and your husband so
He's
much.
so nice.
But I think that's
Yeah.
just his way. I think it's because you know that that's the way he shows affection, oddly enough. I mean, Candace Thompson used to go on the road with him.
Yeah.
And I would be relieved because, let's say, for instance, we go to a pharmacy late at night. It would be her he'd be choking and not me. So somehow I would be relieved from that position.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I think that there's something really endearing about the way he chokes. You know what I mean? Like you know that he loves you when he does that. But it's not a real. Does he go hard?
No, well, he doesn't. He used to do that to me upstairs at work, and
Yeah.
it's more of like a shaking. It's
Yeah.
not a choking, and but I would always be like and then we were all out to eat with like a bunch of people, and then he said, if I do anything that upsets anyone, he keeps doing this. Does he keep doing that to you too? He goes, if I do anything that upsets anyone, please let me know. And I was like, I don't have anything to say.
Because you know why?
But
He's
just-
just
I
gonna
don't-
he's gonna use that information to double down and do
Yes!
it more.
I need these I
Yeah.
need these hints.
He's not trying to ask for forgiveness. He's trying to know what absolutely bothers you so he can do it over and over
But
again.
he's asking so sincere.
No, it's guerrilla style
Don't
warfare.
trust him.
No, don't trust him. Ever. I've been with him 6 years,
Yeah.
Chelsea. Take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, I'm going all over the place. First of all, before we get to that, I want to hear about you grew up in the Philippines. Born there.
Born there.
Manila?
Cebu,
Cebu.
the better part.
Oh, okay. So I don't even know anything about the Philippines. Is it
I think the most important thing to know about the Philippines is even though geographically it's in Asia, it is the only truly Catholic nation in Asia.
Oh.
So it feels like its own. You know how in LA Pasadena feels like a different country? Like you don't really know what the fuck is in Pasadena.
Right.
You have really rich folk, and then you
Yeah.
have the fucking, Pasadena Denver Lane Bloods. Like you have
I didn't even
that,
know.
like-
Is that a sports team?
yeah, and no, that's not.
What is that? That sounds like
it's a gang.
it's a game.
So you have the
Oh.
richest old money people that live in
Yeah.
Pasadena that are like, the marshals at the Rose Parade, and they go around, in horses and stuff. Those type of rich people, like the tea and crumpets rich people.
Yeah.
But then also you have gangs. You have the Villa Boys. You have the Squiggly Lanes.
How
That's
do
a
you
real
know
gang.
all these names?
Because I went to high school there.
You did?
Yeah, I
Wait,
went to high school in
where?
Pasadena. In a really bad school called Blair High School.
Steven,
the reject school.
My husband went to St. Francis. Do you know
Oh,
it?
that's fancy.
Is it?
St. Francis is where like the rich kids go.
Is it private Catholic? He told me that it's very old money, and he said it's like much more like there's so much more wealth there than like
Yes.
Beverly Hills and Bel Air.
Totally.
And I was always like, okay, because I just thought since he was from there, he was like building it up because he exaggerates a lot.
Remember that movie with Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Costner where she's looking for her dad? And it turns out that I think like Kevin Costner's her dad, but it's about
what?
I don't know if I got that wrong. And Mark Ruffalo's in it. Anyways, it's about a
Oh.
really super uppity rich family, but they're from Pasadena.
And he rode a motorcycle, and he was like a doctor. Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, maybe? Are we mixing things?
Okay.
Yeah, but that apparently it's based on a true story, and it's based on a really rich family in Pasadena.
Yeah, and my daughter, the wedding, my father of the daughter, or whatever it's. What is that one?
Yeah.
The wedding one.
That's the one, right?
The one when the little girl, my daughter's wedding, the first, the Steve Martin one.
Father of the Bride.
Yes, Father of the Bride.
God, I
Isn't
love
that
that
in
movie.
Pasadena?
It looks like it
I
would
don't
be
know.
in
I'm just thinking of
Pasadena.
another Pasadena movie.
No, they were too suburban. Like they were like
Oh.
middle class suburban family. They weren't rich.
Oh.
Were they?
I think the house was in Pasadena though.
Oh,
Anyways, so you moved. You were in you were in the Philippines until how old?
15.
Oh, okay. So then you moved at 15. So that must have been a big culture shock.
Yeah, because in the Philippines, I went to an international school,
Oh, okay.
and so I grew
Like
up.
a boarding school?
So my family had a lot of money when I was growing up, and my dad lost most of his wealth by the time I was 13.
What were they doing?
My dad was a businessman. He ran a shipping company.
Businessman, shipping
yeah.
company,
Yeah, yeah.
imports, exports?
Yeah, exports, imports, and he had invested most of his wealth in Mexico at that time in the 80s.
Oh.
And the peso crashed in the 80s, and we lived off whatever he was able to salvage, and including the shipping company, but that kind of went under. So by the time I was 13, I went from a silver spoon in my mouth to living in, the cut in Pasadena, not the good part of Pasadena.
Okay.
So I went from going to the international school I had my own nanny. My sister had her own nanny.
Wow,
We had a maid's quarter. We had, a driver, a lady that washed our clothes. I lived a very charmed life.
Yeah.
To living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Pasadena that was cockroach infested. But I'm telling you, Chelsea, I had never felt richer. I thought that, wow, I'm in America. There's a KFC down the road that serves potatoes instead of rice. I was in
You were
awe.
done with mac salad?
Is
that
we
the
didn't even
same
have
as-
mac salad.
Oh, really?
We just had rice, chicken, and gravy at the
Yeah.
KFC in the Philippines. So I was just in awe of everything American, and I didn't notice that we
Why
were really
Pasadena?
poor. Because I think that my dad ultimately had a rich man's mentality,
Okay.
where it's like, my dad grew up with a lot of wealth in his family as well. He comes from money. His whole life, he has been able to just gallivant, do whatever he wants, go to med school but not work as a doctor, like that type of money where you're like, oh, I have the degree but I don't need to use it. My family has money. So I think in his mind, if we lived in Pasadena, maybe there isn't that much shame in saying we live in Pasadena versus saying we live in Carson, California.
See, I don't even know where that is.
It's where all the Filipinos are. I love
okay.
Carson. Nothing wrong with Carson.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm trying to tap into what I think.
It was like the
was
better,
reason.
the next best version
Yeah.
sort of thing.
And there were 2 really solid club teams for swimming because my sister and I were swimmers and we swam for the Philippine team when we were in the Philippines. So when we moved over here, we needed basically a club team, and they had good club teams in Pasadena. So.
Oh, that's cool. So what was your stroke?
I was a 200 butterflyer.
Oh, is that like this one that splashes a lot of water? But you're
Yeah,
not
exactly.
supposed to splash a lot of water, right? Isn't there something with
if you want to be the most hydrodynamic, yeah, you're not supposed to have a lot of splash, but
Yes.
you can't help it when you swim butterfly. There's
Yeah.
a lot of splash.
Do you still go to pools? And you have a pool now, right? Because you guys just moved.
Yeah, but it's more like a foot wash. It's not. It's
Oh,
a very
really?
tiny
Oh, okay.
pool. Yeah, it's yeah.
I saw pictures, I think, when he was looking at houses,
Oh really?
choosing between.
Oh, it took us 2 years to find a house.
Wow.
Never. I never want to go through that experience again. In at the end of the day, we settled for a home that wasn't even what he had imagined. Because
Did
we
you
were
like
so
it?
tired by the end of just looking that we were just like, look, we just need anything at this point.
Yeah, 2 years. That's a
Yeah.
fucking nightmare.
Imagine our poor real estate agent.
How many did you see in that time? You're like, I swear we're gonna get something.
I think
Did you have to convince them?
yeah, I had to. I think what happened was Bobby had option paralysis. He saw all these great homes never pulled the trigger on the early one, so he kept thinking that there was going to be a better one the next time we go out and find one. And there never really was. And now we look back, we're like, shit, that was actually the house we should have gotten. Love where we live now.
Yeah.
Very thankful for the roof over our head. But it is not exactly what he had imagined.
Because didn't he want like a Japanese style, like one level?
He wanted something that doesn't exist.
Okay.
Yeah, he wanted a Blade Runner home that was Japanese Zen yard, but also like in Moscow in 1975.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's just it didn't exist.
Yeah.
He has too many, because he loves really good. I have to say, Bobby designs a home really well. He doesn't go with trends. He just likes what he likes. It's very particular, very cool and vintage.
Like mid-century modern.
Yes, some mid-century modern elements, but also a lot of... When our home is done, just come by and you'll know what I mean. It's like a mishmash, but somehow still kind of goes together.
So you have similar tastes.
Yeah, we do.
That's good.
Or very childlike, too. We like colors a lot. We're never that gray and tan. We're not that gray and tan couple.
Like Prince, wild colors.
Yeah.
Colorful, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what me and Steven like, too. Except that, like, when he moved into my apartment. So, like, I had already all of the furniture, so he brought like a couple of things.
Does that bug you? When people like...
Well, he brought these like 2 huge plaid chairs from his like grandmother that were like on a deck. Literally, if you tap it, a pile of dust comes up.
Yeah.
They bother me so much. I love plaid.
Yeah.
But they're just old and I just don't want them, and they take up so much space, and like they do fit in, but like just stuff like that, or like he has like really bad art. Like
that he's done?
No.
Oh. Or just he's bought.
Like that he wants to hang up.
Yeah.
Like a really bad painting of like a bicycle.
Yeah.
With like a wood frame. It just looks like shit. You know what I mean?
Bobby's kind of into that. They probably have the same taste. The one thing that we did fight about when we moved was he's really attached to this Kill Bill poster, and it's not even a Kill. It's just Uma Thurman 6 feet tall. Like it's a really tall poster of her in the yellow Kill Bill suit, and it just looks so collegey.
Is it in a frame?
It's in a frame.
Okay.
And I'm like, it's just, you know, if it was a different poster.
I know what you mean about the collegey vibe, cause like I like love blue lights, so like I have blue Christmas lights up, but it looks like a college dorm. And I'm like, we need to get rid of...
I'm with you on that. There's something very nostalgic about having like blue...
But I don't want it to look like a college...
I don't think that lights make it look collegey.
But I like lighting and mood.
Me too. I'm very big on lighting. That's the one thing Bobby does not get. You can buy all the great furniture in the world. If you don't have proper lighting, none of it is being showcased the way it should be showcased.
Especially like Hook having sex and like cool lighting.
Oh, God. See, that's where...
Like, I don't want to hear about your sex life with Bobby,
darkness.
but like...
I don't want to see anything.
Really? Pitch black dark?
Yeah.
Always?
I want sensory deprivation.
Wait, really? Pitch black darkness?
Lately, yeah, for me. And it's because I don't know, like, I think when I was younger, I was probably less aware. But now, I don't like to see that I'm home. I don't like my own bedroom. I kind of just want to like, you know, depart from my reality.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
I can make my surrounding. If it's dark, I can make my surrounding anything I want it to be.
Yeah, like sensory deprivation.
Yeah, like those the tanks,
thing?
the water tanks.
Have you been in those?
I've never. I don't know why people pay for that when you can just float in a pool and close your eyes.
Yeah, and it sounds too scary.
I don't like being enclosed.
No.
Yeah.
And in a dark, weird place.
Yeah, like I don't trust. That's human error exists. What if I'm just locked in there? That's why I was always afraid of tanning beds. You know, you could just essentially lift them up and walk out. But I'm like, there was that one horror movie.
I know exactly. Yeah, I know.
Final Destination?
I know what you did last summer.
Oh yeah, that one. Yes.
Yeah, that's like immediately what I thought of.
Yeah.
When Jennifer Love Hewitt gets locked in it.
Yes.
So when you lived in the Philippines, did you guys... I'm skipping all over.
Yeah.
when you lived there,
It's my
did
kind
you,
of podcast.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay, you got like a bunch of you got like probably select few American
Select.
movies.
Okay, so I came here in 1998,
Okay.
and Guns N' Roses was still really big on the radio when I left. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So because the internet had not really made its way completely to the Philippines, we were still like today we're on board with everything. All the kids there know what's happening over here. All the information is disseminated and makes its way there. All the movies are on time. But that's not how it was when I grew up there. So a few select things made it there. Like the Gary Shandling show made it.
But like something that will be popular there that's not popular here.
No, and also we had MTV Asia there. We didn't have MTV. So like certain bands, we were more in line with what was popular in the UK and Australia versus what was popular in the US. Because that's like there's certain bands that were massive there. Like Bobby and I just had this discussion because he had never heard of this band called Suede. They're now called London Suede. And they were massive in Asia. But over here, just no one had heard of them.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, like, wow, you really, like, those people, they're rich. They're living in probably a fucking mansion, but nobody in America has heard of them.
Yeah, like you know how that Sugar Man guy was really
Searching for
popular
Sugar
in
Man?
New Zealand?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Sixto Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sixto? Did I
yeah.
get it? Yeah.
So who was like the celebrity in the Philippines?
That was
Or
massive.
like super popular?
What genre?
I don't know. It's
We
kinda
were-
like a broad question.
So the Philippines is very stuck to this day on big hair bands.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Especially in the province. And this is what I find so cool about the Philippines. It's that even in the most provincial area, it's never that quiet. There's always someone singing, putting on really loud, poison tracks. Like that's just the vibe there. It's
wow.
it's such a throwback still.
Uh-huh.
But this is just in the provincial area. But before I left, like, I remember there was this all-girl band. I remember like the Spice Girls was a thing, but over there, all Saints.
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Yeah, all the things she said.
Yeah. But that was when I came to America. I knew that.
Oh wait, there's another one. The one that was like, "Don't be a brontosaurus." Do you know what
What's
I'm
that?
talking about?
No, I don't. What is that?
I always sing that, and everyone's like, "I've no idea what you're talking about."
Wait, hang
There
on,
was
hang
this
on.
other band,
Where are they from?
UK, and it was these girls, and they had this one fucking popular
It's-
song.
It's not All Saints. It's not the girls who sing Never Ever.
What is that?
Never ever ever.
No,
so
no.
slow.
Why can you? Whenever I try to do a song, no one ever knows what
Me
song I'm
neither.
singing. I'm always like, you know, the one that's like da-na-na, and they're like, no, I have no idea what da-na-na is. Fuck, I can't remember. But yeah, it's like along those lines of the Spice Girls.
Yeah,
It was-
and I think that over here, like the group Aqua, they only knew Barbie Girl, right? That's the one song that made it here. We knew the whole album back there. You know, we knew Mr. Jones. We knew, I mean, like it was,
So one hit wonders here were entire albums
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
That's
Like,
interesting.
you know how Savage Garden had one song here? We knew Savage Garden's entire discography.
What was their song?
They're the ones that sing, I'll be your dream, I'll be
Oh, yeah,
your
that was a good
wish,
one.
I'll be, yeah. But they sing another song there. There's just so many cool bands that never made it their way over
Yeah,
here.
is karaoke big over there?
Massive.
Because those are all like karaoke songs too, I feel like.
Yeah, so like I was having this discussion with my friend the other day, and you are not a true Filipino unless you know all Barry Manilow songs and Tom Jones,
Oh.
because those are the big karaoke songs.
Yeah.
And it's such just an essential part of our culture to sing with a family. Which is why I know my white side takes a little bit took over in like my DNA gene expression, because I cannot sing. And
Really? I thought
everyone
you
in-
just sang all those songs well.
Oh, really? Really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, you do.
By Filipino standards, I am absolute garbage.
Really? Do a lot of people there have amazing voices?
Amazing voices, and they all
I
play
love
instruments.
Amazing voices. Oh, really?
Yeah, and they all can dance.
Wow. Huh.
So all my cousins play at least one or two instruments, whether it's the guitar, and they're all in a band, and everyone just is very musically inclined, except for me. But the one thing that I have that they don't is I am obsessed with memorizing lyrics.
Ooh, yes. Did
Yeah.
you used to stop the tape, rewind the
Yeah.
tape, and then play it over and over again?
And I had a notebook in high school, my
Yes.
emo notebook, where I would just write like the Cure lyrics over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And remember MySpace? What was your MySpace?
Smacking babies that they christening.
Oh my God.
What was yours?
Mine was a Cure one. And it went, what did it say? And if you make it safe and clean, no, hold on. And if I have your faith, then I can make it safe and clean.
I don't know that
It's
song.
yeah.
But both song lyrics.
Yeah, yep.
What
of
was your
course.
AIM name?
I didn't have an AIM because I didn't have a computer until I was 24.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my sister in college did. She had like a broke down computer, and hers was Water Rebel 69.
Water Rebel. Yeah, that's
69
funny.
had to be. Oh, but my old oh my God, I just found this too. I cringed so hard. My old Hotmail, my first Hotmail account was Tickle Me 702 because I
Why?
lived in Vegas at that time. At hotmail.com.
Yeah, a lot of older emails from like girls I know were all like creepy ones.
Yeah,
like
because we were all sexually repressed.
right. A girl in my high school was Daddy's Little Hotties, like 87, and I'm
we
still
were all
grossed out.
We were trying. It was a thirst trap central. Like we didn't have an outlet for sexual
Wait,
expression.
so
then.
you didn't have AOL chat rooms?
I didn't. I didn't have a computer. You know, I did hotlines.
You did?
Oh yeah, the
Wait.
party lines.
Party lines? Wait,
There was the
like
poor girl version of AIM.
Yeah, because you never got to be like ASL and be in a creepy chat room
No,
with like
no,
an
no.
older guy.
No. I missed that boat. I know.
Wait, so what did you did party lines, and what is a party line?
A party line is so you get on there, and if you like who you're talking to, you can either continue to talk to them or you can press a number and you go to the next one. But
Oh,
you
like
can have
chat
phone
roulette
sex
on the
there.
phone.
Yeah,
You can or cannot?
you can.
So did you do that a lot growing up?
I did, and it was someone way older, and it was someone
Always.
known.
What?
Yeah, he was a creep. I didn't know it. He made me call him Uncle Blank, but his God, I wish
It's
I
like
could
a
say
famous
it.
person?
He was at that time. He was a radio personality.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, wait, is this really him? But then he would start like divulging stuff about his life and his
Yes.
background. And he was very specific, and I was like, oh, this is him. It sounds exactly.
How
the
old
same.
were you when that happened?
I was 16.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
I had a weird thing like that. When I had my radio show in Hawaii, I was like, I think 19, which is still young,
Yeah.
looking back now. And a bunch of celebrities were calling in for campaigning for Obama.
Yeah.
And one of them was they were the producer person called, and they're like, "Oh, this person's gonna call in."
Yeah.
Do you see what I
Wait,
said?
let me see. Say it again. Say it again. Tell me later.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
even matter. But anyways, I'm like a huge fan of this guy. I loved him in so many things growing up, and I always had a crush on him.
Yeah.
So then we were talking and getting along, and I was being flirty but like fun. And then he goes, "Oh, well, why don't you put on like a commercial and we'll talk more about like how you can sign up."
Yeah.
And then he gave me his email, and he started emailing me all these like crazy things. And he was like, "Why don't you like lay down and like spread your legs and take a picture?" But it was like an old man creepy.
How old was he?
He was probably like in his 40s, and just like
yeah.
creeped me
Yeah.
out because I was like, no, I liked this guy.
Yeah. That's a pity.
And yeah, it was just like strange. He
But
had like
you know
a creepy AOL email.
The things we would put up with when we were that young and inexperienced, and I really think there is some truth to that. Like when I was 16, I went on a date with a guy who managed a lot of really big bands.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we met on the party line.
Oh.
This is an untapped thing.
Did you ever meet people in real life?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is how you met him?
So he took me to the House of Blues. I was 16, and I got a wristband. I was backstage with the band and everything. And he was in his 40s. And I mean, like, really, like, bands that I was really into.
Yeah.
Way later. And he just started getting really creepy on me. Like, he knew exactly how old I was. But I remember it was time to go when he was like grinding up on me during the show, like behind me. And I was like, all right, I guess I could, put
Yeah.
kind of do. And then he had a belly button piercing.
Ew.
And I remember thinking like, wait, I have a belly button piercing and I shouldn't be so judgy, but like, ooh, I couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like a 40-year-old man, and I was like, I don't know, like this guy is a creep. I think that's what solidified it in my mind that this is not a normal person. The belly button piercing.
Yeah. I know a couple of musicians who have weird stuff like that who have hit on me, and I'm like, I just can't get past like the angel wings tattoo on your entire back and your nipple piercings.
Nipple piercing's a little bit
It's-
forgivable. A little
Yeah,
bit
but not
more.
this year.
No,
in the 90s.
Right.
But not now.
Yeah, and I remember I only had like $30 to get back from this House of Blues to Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling the cab driver, you got to drop me off wherever $30 takes me.
Wow.
I walked like 3 miles home. Yeah, because I was so
Yeah.
spooked by
Yeah.
his piercing.
Well, it's good that you got up and left.
Yeah, I did.
Because I would have like stayed. I was like I would like stay in the worst situations.
Yeah.
I don't know. Were you like a party girl?
In high school, I
Uh-huh.
hung out with a lot of gangsters.
Okay. This is how you
I
know
was
all the
Mexican.
gangs.
Yeah, I was a chola. I had the lip liner. I had the earrings. I had a boyfriend named Puppet.
Buppet? Like
Puppet.
Puppet.
Yeah, his real name was Victor, but he was Puppet.
Puppet's better.
Yeah, Puppet. And he was
Puppet?
he was such a sage gangster.
What is it?
He
That's
was
a funny
prophetic.
character.
Oh my God, he was such a sweet guy. And then I remember years later, he called me up and he maybe like when I was 24,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Hey girl, remember me? It's Victor."
And
I'm
you're like,
"Oh shit."
who? He was like, Puppet? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, hi.
So he had just gotten out of jail.
What'd
or
he go
prison.
for?
I didn't even ask, but he was like, yo, I guess him and his chick were about to have a baby, and they were like, I want to name her Khalyla. And I was like, all right, Victor. You do
That's
what you
it?
want, man. Yeah. And he just wanted to ask me permission to name his
Oh.
baby my name. So if there's a little baby gangster named Khalyla, that's Victor's baby.
That's so cute.
was
And
like,
that's
what an
polite of
honor.
him to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And get your blessing.
Yeah. And yeah, but I was a full-blown Mexican in high school.
So you were in this private school, but then
Not
you.
private school.
Oh.
Your boyfriend was in a private
Yeah,
school. I
and
went to Blair High School.
Oh,
It
so we're
was
talking about. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about the Philippines.
Yeah, that there I went to a private school, and over here.
Oh, over here you had Puppet.
I had Puppet here.
Oh, okay. But in the Philippines before,
Yeah.
when you're on I'm thinking about island partying.
No, I was too young then.
Really?
Yeah, because I was an athlete and I swam. I was a really good kid. It wasn't until I got to America that I started to fuck around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I never partied. Like you've told me some of your stories.
Yeah.
I have never partied like that.
Oh, really?
And I feel some level of regret because it's not cute to pick it up in your 30s.
No, it's not.
No. So it's my time has
Yeah.
gone. That ship has
Yeah.
left the harbor. There's no chance for me to ever experiment.
Mm-hmm.
It's how uncute.
I guess I'm
is
glad
it?
that it's so gross.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah, just seeing anyone who's like over the. I could be a little more judgmental sometimes because I am sober and I am seeing what someone completely shit-faced looks like.
Yeah.
But like to me, people who party like every single night, working here and seeing everyone partying every
Yeah.
single night, when you're like over 30, like for me, I want to say the age to like get your shit together is like probably over 25 and not
Yeah.
getting shit-faced every night.
Yeah.
But just seeing people out of control, it's just like crazy to me. I don't know. It's just like,
it looks uncomfortable.
yeah.
I don't miss the feeling of waking up full of regret.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was never that heavy with alcohol, but I did party
Mm-hmm.
in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just not a feeling that I ever look back at and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Do
I
you
miss
still
that.
drink or smoke weed?
Rarely. I don't smoke weed. I drink maybe 4 times a year, and I
Oh,
usually
that's
reserve
nothing.
that. No, yeah, I
Yeah.
reserve that for. I don't go out much.
Mhm.
I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
Did
Did you used to, and then you kind of just like got over it?
yeah, I realized that a lot of I was trying to escape a lot of things in my 20s or a lot of feelings in my 20s, and by the time when I got with Bobby. things just started to slow down in my mind. Things just started to feel a little bit clearer. I started to feel more like the person I was comfortable with myself. And
How old were you when you like felt like that?
28 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took a while. I think some people get there much sooner. I don't know what
I
age
feel
you're-
like I don't know. I feel like yeah, I guess around 28 to 30 probably you get more and more comfortable with yourself, but I think it's so funny cuz it's like I remember being younger and thinking I was so old and mature, but I
Me
look
too.
back and I'm like I was such an idiot.
I was a righteous little bitch.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know what I feel like after 30 like everything changes, but I'm only 32, so I feel like I've had so much more before the past 2 years.
Yeah. But I like that you burned a lot of rubber in your
Yeah.
20s, and I think that is necessary.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look at, I have a teenage niece who's living with us now, and she goes to private school out here. And Bobby and I sort of my mom raises her half the time. She's with us half the time. And these kids are so good these days.
Really? Cuz
They're
I
just
feel
so
like they're
much-
bad.
No, they know more because all the
Oh.
information is available to them, so it's not novel. Like sex that isn't as novel. You remember how the feeling of finally getting to like any type of information or any type of like experience you would have sexually was such a big deal. At least for me when I was a teenager.
I was like more prude in high school than I feel like my other friends were. Like
Yeah.
I was like the last one of my friends to have
Oh,
sex
really?
when I was 16. But then I guess like after I started having sex like like with a boyfriend who was older, then I felt like things changed.
Yeah. Did you always date older guys when you were younger?
Yeah, I do like I hate guys that are I would never hook up with someone who was younger than me. I've never I made out with one person who was younger than me for like a funny thing.
Yeah.
Like that someone who was in one of my college classes that
Yeah.
I saw at like a bar. So as a joke I like made out with I don't know why it was a joke. To me it was. But yeah, always
But
older
you were
guys.
were you always a hot chick?
No, I was not. Like I was anorexic. I was really skinny. I was like a pothead. And once I started eating and gained weight when I was 16, then I got more hot. Then I
Yeah.
grew boobs. Like my hair was dyed blonde. I was
Yeah.
like tan and it was like parted to a different side. And then everyone started like, everyone's like, Chelsea's hot. I remember because I went to boarding school in Switzerland.
You went to boarding school in
Yeah,
Switzerland?
briefly for a semester for like 8 months. It was so expensive.
Where?
Lugano.
You know, my dad's whole family
Yeah.
is from. Well, he was born in Paris, but his
Oh,
whole
really?
family, yeah, because they were in the hotel business.
Yes.
When my dad came from wealth. It's all in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah. I was in an international school as well. But there's two.
Wow.
There's one called Les Rosés,
Yeah.
which is more in the French section. And
Yeah.
then there's one in Lugano, which is called Tassis.
Now, did
Those
your
are, like,
parents
the
send
two
you there
boarding
because they
schools.
wanted to get rid of you, or because they thought it was going to prime you for success?
So, I think a little of both, but more like I was doing a lot of coke during that time. And I had got caught doing it in school. And my mom found out. She got me
Yeah.
drug tested. At the same time, a family friend of ours, their daughter was going to that school. And I grew up loving Madeline.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to like go to boarding school. I just had this thing in my head and I just thought I was just like in a weird dark place. So I applied, I got in, and then I happened to get in trouble for doing coke. So it was kind of just like, why don't you just go off to this place? And I would have stayed longer, but I got like all D's and it
Yeah.
was so expensive that they're like, we're not paying for you to just like, but I just partied the entire time.
How long were you there for?
I was there for like 8 months.
So did you
Basically a
learn
year.
like
Italian? It was Italian.
it was Italian there because
Yeah.
was
The
Lugano?
yeah, which is like an hour north of Italy.
Okay.
But yeah, all I did was party. And it was so weird. Like we would drink with the teachers
Yeah.
and we'd like go to their house and be drinking and I'd be like, this is weird. Why am I at my teacher's house like drinking with 3 other girls? There was never it was weird.
Hold on, I want to ask that.
Yeah.
Because I think that most girls and most people have had encounters with people they're not supposed to have encounters with.
Mhm.
Have you ever been with a teacher?
No, but I've always wanted to.
I'm trying to think.
I love that I love the teacher fantasy.
Yeah, I'm into the teacher fantasy, but there's this one time because
Mhm.
all my friends did.
Really? I'm
Well,
so
like
jealous.
girls that
That's
were
like
into
my.
rich girls did.
Ugh, that's even hotter. Remember that Wild Things?
Yes, yes.
I just
fantasy,
rewatched that recently.
Yeah.
Everyone's so hot in that movie.
but only if they're hot. Not all.
Denise Richards and Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've always like had that thing in my head.
The closest I guess, sort of teacher student thing that I ever had. So when I was 17 and I got locked up in a mental hospital.
I've been 5150.
Me too, 3 times.
I
Girl.
had a tweet about 5150 today, but I deleted it.
What did it say?
I was just something like, if you haven't been 5150 after a relapse, you haven't been partying enough or something. Something stupid that wasn't that funny.
Yeah.
But it was like an afterthought. And then like
Also,
someone like DM me.
fact.
Yeah. And then I deleted it because I was like, this isn't funny. I want to like figure out a funnier way to say it.
But it's true. Like it's
Yes. So where were you? I was out here in Alhambra. Am I saying that right?
Oh my
Wait,
God! I've
wait,
been to the same
wait.
one.
Oh.
That's called BHC, the one in Alhambra.
Okay. It's the one there.
Yeah, the only one in Alhambra.
Wait. Okay. So what?
I've been there twice.
How scary was it? Will you talk about why you were there?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
tried to. Well, first it started off with me just being a cutter.
How old? Yeah, I was a cutter
I was
too.
in
Do
high
you have any
school.
scars still? Not that we're celebrating
I
it.
got tattooed.
Oh, is that why you have that? I have one left, but it was like, but my whole wrist was covered.
Same. Yeah.
How old?
So I was 16,
Okay.
and I started cutting, and then I was on psych meds at that time.
What were you on?
I was on Zoloft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you anorexic?
I was not.
Okay.
But there were anorexic girls at BHC.
Yeah, because I think cutting was also part of like anorexia.
Yeah.
Because it was a punishment.
for sure.
Yeah.
And you know how they would take away all your what did they used
Shoelaces
to call it?
and stuff.
Not the shoelaces, but they called it
Contraband?
contraband. And one of the girls that we were with, one of the anorexic girls, she snuck in a safety pin.
Ooh.
And she was just cutting, and she was passing it around, and they were having a
Ew.
cutting party.
Cutting party?
It was crazy.
Was everyone crazy?
No, they weren't crazy. They were honestly, everyone needed help there, including myself. And
Yeah.
I know now why I was 5150, and I think it's just because I went from being a really good student to basically just dropping off and you know. But I don't think the adults took into account was that they never asked what was happening in my life.
Yeah.
They were just very look at it from a symptomatic viewpoint, never saying, okay, because my dad was gravely ill at that time.
Okay.
You know, my mom, it was I had just come to a new country and things didn't feel right. My dad was dying. So many things. It was so circumstantial.
It was a lot of changes and stuff. There, have you ever heard of like adjustment disorder?
Mm-mm.
Oh. I've been told I've had that before, but that's like something that happens when you like move places or there's like a big change and you have like issues or you struggle with like adjusting to things.
Yeah.
So like emotionally, like things just start.
Which would that makes sense, right? I mean,
for anyone,
anybody.
especially someone who's 16,
Yeah.
moving into high school.
Yeah.
Like how were like people receiving you when you came?
Yeah, and it was just a whole slew of things happening in my life. Anyways, I landed in BHC twice as a 5150. The third time I was thrown in Torrance. But that's when I had the clandestine relationship with a guy who worked there.
Ooh, really? That's
Yeah.
so hot.
On the day that I was discharged, because the last day, you increasingly stay longer and longer each time you're held at 5150. First, it's like
Okay.
72-hour hold. And
Yeah,
then your
were you-
second time, you're like, no, this bitch needs
The
to stay
2 weeks?
longer.
Did you do the 2 weeks?
I was longer.
Okay.
At Torrance, yeah.
So who? Okay, and then for who 5150'd you?
The last time I OD'd really bad
on
my dad's medication, so I ended up
Which was?
So I remember it was like theophylline, so I had a seizure. I had a lot of his heart meds. I was
that's
gone.
Ugh.
I wanted to be out.
Yeah.
I was so sure that I was not going to wake up.
So
and
you
that
just
was my
took
intention.
anything.
Yeah, I wanted to die.
Yeah, and who found you?
My stepbrother at that time, who has since taken his own life, which is really sad. It's horrible to think about it now because he saved my
Wow.
life, and there was, he eventually, like 2 years after that, he took his own. But when during my stay in Torrance, I remember this guy, and he really should. In retrospect, this guy should be in trouble, but I just don't have it in me.
What happened?
Well, I remember like the last day I was there, and I remember he had to tell me the news. Or no, the day before.
What was
I
his
discharged.
job?
He was one of the therapists there who led group therapy and whatnot. And I remember I was in my bed and I was like singing Casey and JoJo. just
mentally
yeah,
ill. No, I'm just
just mentally ill on Zyprexa, singing Casey and JoJo.
Oh my God, I was diagnosed with. I mean, I was prescribed Zyprexa.
Did you get really fat?
I never
like
took
I did?
it. I didn't take it.
Oh, thank God. Wait, no. If you're taking Zyprexa,
Well, some
continue to
people,
take it.
yeah, if you need it.
But it's an antipsychotic
I know.
med that it just threw me into just obesity. It was the worst
Yeah.
for me. But I think that I was
Were you
wrongly
obese?
prescribed. No. It's just I got really fat when I took Zyprexa. So this guy just asked for my number. And
What did he
He's like, I think that you're such a special kid.
Ew,
So he did acknowledge,
special
yeah.
too. That's
He's like, you're so bright. You have so much, you have so many things to say. I want to help you, like out of here. Like I want to help guide you and, set you on the right path. And I so bought into that. I was like, oh my God, you think I'm special?
Yeah.
So fucking stupid. So we carried on this first friendship. And then he came over to my house like a week after, and we like just did some heavy making out in his car.
Did he make the move on you?
Of course he did. He drove. I remember he lived in like Diamond Bar or someplace far
Diamond
from
Head?
me.
Oh no,
Diamond
Diamond Bar.
Head.
Oh, that's why. Yeah,
Yeah.
Diamond Bar.
And I remember him telling me all about his like daughter and his estranged wife. And I'm like, hey bro, I'm 16, man.
That's too much.
Just make out. That's all I care about. I don't need
So
to
did you
fucking-
know that it was gonna like turn sexual at that? Did you know you weren't just like friends at that point? Or like could you tell that he was
The reason that I even gave him my number is because all the girls in there we all secretly had a crush on him.
So he
a
was hot.
guy. He was a hot guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn. How old was he?
He was in his 30s.
Okay.
Yeah. I shouldn't glorify this experience, but
Yeah.
I wasn't scarred from it either.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like
you don't look back on it and
No.
think like
It was wrong that he
Mhm.
used, his position to prey,
yes,
to bait in a mentally ill girl on Zyprexa.
horrible.
Singing
Yeah.
Casey and JoJo. You know what I mean? Like I even like
You were like
a genre surf there. I don't usually listen to Casey, and that's how mentally ill I was.
you were like lying there like singing, and then he was like standing in the doorway with a rose, and he's like, beautiful voice,
That's how I imagined it. Or maybe I was so sick this never happened.
So then,
I'm kidding, no.
plot
this
twist.
isn't the Joker. This happened.
Do you think the Joker? Do you think? Oh, the relationship with the girl didn't happen.
Yeah,
you
it didn't
mean?
happen. Yeah.
That's so wild. When I went to Alhambra, am I saying that right, or is it
Alhambra.
Alhambra? Okay.
Yeah.
When I went there, so I relapsed, and in 2 weeks,
How old were you?
this was 3 years ago.
Oh shit, Chelsea.
3 years ago, so 3 years ago, I relapsed. I was dating another comic here, who cheated on me.
Oh,
He's such an
Lord.
asshole.
Are you not friends with him anymore?
We're not friends, but I see him all the time, and we make small talk, and you know him for sure. He's just an asshole and a bad person.
Can you tell me after so I know
of
who
course.
to hate
Yes.
on your behalf?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a total scumbag. And so he was cheating on me, and he like rubbed it in my face, and for some reason I just snapped. We had been in a bad relationship, and I just couldn't take it anymore. Like my brain just like, so I was like, I have to drink, and I had been 3 years sober at that point. Yeah, so I like drove to a liquor store. Anyways, in 2 weeks after relapsing, I had been to a rehab. Then I tried to kill myself. I got kicked out of the rehab. I like took all these pills after doing I took like 27 Xanaxes after doing coke for like 16 hours.
Shit.
And then I told him, and he called the cops, and they picked me up, took me to Cedars. I don't remember what happened. I don't even know if they like pumped my stomach or what, but I woke up the next day, and then they were like, you have to be 5150. I was like, no, I'm fine. like, I was like, I'm good. Like, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I guess I had told them that I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
So then I had to go and they like strapped me down. Did you get strapped down like Brittany?
I didn't get strapped down because I was a willing participant.
Oh, okay.
Probably if I had put up a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Did you put up a fight? Do you remember?
Yeah, I tried to run away. So I like took like the thing off my arm and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I must have looked mentally ill, but I had been doing coke for like 3 days straight. So I looked like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was just in like underwear with like eyeliner everywhere. And my hair was crazy. And like, I was like trying to like escape.
Yeah.
And then these like guys came who were in all black with these headsets. And I still today don't know who those people were at Cedars. Isn't that weird? And I was not imagining it.
With headsets?
It was like these guys in all black who were like men in black types who looked like security
Were they
people.
trying to recruit you?
No, Scientology. No, they were just they were just getting me to go to I guess if I would put up a fight.
That maybe they were just transport guys.
Yeah, maybe. But then, anyways, they strapped me down and then they like pushed me through these doors and then the doors closed behind me. And I got so scared. Do you remember getting scared when the doors closed behind you and they like put the bracelet on you?
They were very gentle with me.
Okay, it was like terrifying for me.
I think it's because you were an adult
yeah.
on drugs.
Yeah.
I was a sober, sad kid.
Yeah, so it was like fun.
So for me, they probably saw it as, oh, poor little puppy. Let's, let's be kind to her. She tried to just take her own life versus you know, being on a coke bender.
Right.
With your eyes darting every direction. Yeah.
Had you seen Girl Interrupted?
Oh, no, not at this point. No.
Oh, okay.
I saw it afterwards.
When I saw that movie when I was younger, when I was 15, when I was going through all that stuff, I got sent to a mental hospital, but I was not admitted because my parents didn't let me get admitted.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go, and it was like that was like the age where you felt like dark and moody, and like going to a mental hospital would be like cool.
Yeah.
But this one, for some reason, was not cool. But yeah, I was in like the scariest part. Remember how there's like
your
different
experience? Yeah, because the adult section is different from the kids and teen section. And you had, remember in this part, they had. I remember seeing a girl there that was so young, and apparently her parents had like tied her up and treated her like a dog outside for years. And she was like a very underdeveloped 9-year-old.
Oh
so
my
I know, but
God.
this was in the early 2000s. I don't know if they still have a unit that takes care of just really like neglected kids. But I remember BHC having an adult section and all the adults just smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette there.
That's so horrible. The adults were crazy, and I remember they were like, we only have a bed available in like the worst like section.
Yeah.
So I had to go with like the craziest people. But then they also had like another building for the eating disorder
That's
people.
true because beds are scarce. You
They
have
are?
to fight. Yeah, like that's the problem in LA now. It's like so many people that need beds don't get the beds, and they're like severely mentally ill, you know, and they just don't have the.
So they're on Hollywood Boulevard in a tent.
Yeah.
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 Is that it? Is that there's no beds for people to get, so a lot of people have to be on the street?
I think that the city is very under-equipped to deal with the amount of mentally ill people there are here, so they just kind of get, you know, like my sister works for the Van Nuys jail, so she does. She's a lead nurse there, so she intakes a lot of people, and she always says, just like it hurts me that these people don't have the help that they need, you know. But yeah, that's a real thing. So you got a bed. You're lucky.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't the bed in the correct part.
Yeah.
You weren't, you know.
But yeah, I got to leave after 2 days instead of 3 because I
Wow,
like
2 days.
flirted with a guy.
Yeah.
With a therapist when you go over
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
with them. I remember I pulled
He's supposed to be bomb-proof. That guy sucks then.
I know. I like
That's not
pulled
supposed to
up my
work on
dress
him.
thing
Yeah.
or the gown a
Yeah.
little, and I was like showing my thigh, and I was being really. I'm not even kidding. And I was being really flirty, and I was like, there's so much I have to get back to. And he was like, what do you do? And I go, I do stand up, and I have a lot of shows this week.
Yeah.
And he was like, really? I
Yeah.
love stand up. Okay.
What
Get
a
out.
sucker.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, that really upsets me because he got bamboozled. And guys in that position should not, or any professional in that position
Yeah.
should know, like, you know,
Yeah.
not to be manipulated.
Do you remember feeling afraid in that like meeting that you have with the therapist when you decide if you get to leave or not?
Yeah, I remember even before I got thrown into Torrance, the facility for the third time, I was in Children's Hospital for about a week recovering from the OD.
Oh yeah.
And they had to determine like basically where I was going next, you know? And again, like a bunch of these adults who were professionals never really asked me what was happening at home. All they determined was she's speaking in a very flat affect and she seems to have no remorse about what she did. I'm like, yeah, lady, because my fucking organs are basically liquefying because I just fucking OD'd. And they didn't, I felt betrayed in that way because it felt very, I don't know. I
Like they didn't care.
yeah, they were just like, is she a harm to herself? Is she not? And I get that that's ultimately the question that they have to answer, right? And maybe they made the right decision in putting me there, but the third time was terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying because you're so far away from home. My parents didn't have a car. No one could come visit me. And
how long were you there for that one?
I think I was there for almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then after that, how did you like rebuild yourself?
So right before that happened, I told you I had swam for most of my life. Right before that, I swam the fastest race of my life. So I was very up and down in high school. There were I had bursts of really good moments and then just long, long lows. But during those bursts, I was very productive. I did a lot of things that basically solidified my future as an athlete. And right before I OD'd for the last time, I actually I went to college by the time I was 17. So by 16, I got a offer for a full ride to UNLV.
Where's that?
In Vegas. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was going to swim for a Division I school.
Wow.
So I remember right before discharge when they basically determined is she safe to go back home to her family. I remember telling him if you don't let me go, you're essentially jeopardizing all my a college career for me. And I bamboozled my way out of there.
But that's also a good sign that you cared about that.
Yeah,
because it's you know, having something to care about in the future, I feel is a positive step in the right direction coming from that.
Yeah. And I got it together enough that I made it to college. And
how long were you in Vegas for?
Only 3 years. It was miserable. I eventually redshirted my first year of college swimming and then left UNLV. But yeah, and then my dad died soon after. So
sorry.
Yeah, but it's all a blur when you're that age, right?
Yeah.
There's no chronological order anymore. Even as I'm telling you this, my fear is that my memories are no longer intact because even I'm having trouble reiterating something that's happened in my life. Where I'm wait, where was I and when, you know?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like since around that time, you know, you had a lot of heartbreak, I'm sure. So maybe you try not to remember all of that kind of time.
Yeah.
Because it was a painful time. So your brain probably makes it a little foggy.
Yeah, it does. But you know, Chelsea, it's so crazy how people really identify with the traumas in their life.
Yeah.
Even though all of the trauma has been real, all of the pain is real, I am so thankful that I didn't live an easy life. I'm so thankful that I went to Blair High School instead of a private school. I'm so thankful that I dated Puppet. You know, I'm so thankful that I got to meet just about every type of person in my late teens and early 20s. And I really carry my bag of trauma with a lot of gratitude, if that's
amazing.
Sense.
Of course.
Which I feel I'm lucky that I'm able to do that it doesn't affect me on a daily basis.
Yeah, because I have a lot of friends who are very subscribing to the victim mentality thing and everything happens to them and not. So it's good that you're not that kind of a person.
Yeah, and not to say that those things don't still affect me. There are certain times where, you know, I all of a sudden, I have severe anxiety. I sweat a lot, and I know that everything that's happened in my life manifests that way in my body, where I'm just constantly sweating, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why, and I feel short of breath. But when I think about it as a whole, there is still a lot of gratitude in the fact that I've lived this pretty exciting life so far.
Have you ever taken Boost Bar?
What's that? Oh, yeah, Boost Bar. Yeah. No, never
That's
Boost Bar. Yeah.
amazing. I take it right
Yeah.
now, and so does Steven. It's amazing for anxiety.
It's great because it's not habit forming.
Yeah, and like it really helps. It's just like it's really, really good for
Yeah.
anxiety. It's not like a Xanax type of
Right,
anxiety.
right.
It's more just like, I don't know, like daily life
Right.
sort of stuff. Like reset, like levels you.
Right. So Boost Bar works for some people. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never, I was on so many psych meds when I was
Mm-hmm.
younger. So by the time I was 24, 25, I kind of consciously attempted to wean myself off of everything. Just because I thought that maybe a lot of the things or a lot of the feelings that I was feeling was more circumstantial and that I was misdiagnosed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, people, I feel like very misdirected in that way.
Yeah.
Like they were just looking at everything symptomatically.
Mm-hmm.
So I weaned myself off of all meds. And there are some days where I still feel like I'm white knuckling through my anxiety. But because I do have good days, that to me is promising enough to where I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just add an extra workout this week or do other external things that.
Yeah. What are some of the other like things that you do to maintain your emotions?
I hike a lot. I get in the water a lot. Water is a big thing for me. And Bobby has a problem with this, but I do take 3 showers a day. I wash my hands a lot. I have to be in water.
Why does he have a problem?
Because it takes up time, and it's probably not.
But you don't wash your hair every time.
I wash my hair every time.
Whoa!
I need full like
wash
water. in contact.
your hair 3 times a day, but with shampoo?
No,
you just wet it.
Shampoo once a day. I just wet it.
Yeah,
Right before bed too.
Water
It
Rebel
bugs them.
69.
That was my sister's, but it should have been mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I go free dive. I go.
Wait, what is free diving off a rock?
You just go into, instead of, how there's scuba, you don't have a tank, you just use your own breath.
Oh wow!
So it's like very like meditative. And
So
stuff.
do you go into the ocean here? It's so cool.
I do it with a full wetsuit and everything.
Oh wow! Often?
Often, yeah. Like it's lobster season right now, so I'll probably go Friday.
And pick up a lobster while you're down there?
We'll try.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, with my best friend
so
because she does that. But yeah,
Swimmer guys have the hottest backs.
backs only.
I know. That's like a thing. I've
Because-
always noticed guys who their backs are so hot.
good
It's
backs.
like
Yeah, I think I have a hot male back.
you do.
I have a very hot male back. My sister
Yeah.
has a very hot male back too.
Oh really?
Yeah, very wide.
Yeah.
Very. But swimmers are very sheltered kids. I don't want
Really?
my kid to be a swimmer. Yeah, club swimming is not a sport where, there's a whole bunch of diversity. It's a rich kid sport, I think.
And then how did you and Bobby meet?
Tinder.
Really?
Yeah, did you not know this?
I don't know much. No.
Yeah, we met on Tinder when Tinder first started.
Okay. So it was just like another dating app then. It wasn't like it wasn't really
Tinder
known
was
as
the
like a
only
hookup.
one. No. You know how Tinder is.
Was it one of the first
apps?
apps?
Yeah, or at least that I was aware of, because I
Okay.
had just gotten out of a really long relationship, and it was my ex who told me about it. 'Cause
Oh, really?
He had moved on. And he
Is
was
this
like,
in
"Look,"
Long Beach?
Long Beach.
I
yeah.
know about that. Bobby
Yeah.
mentioned that you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he, I met him. He was my first and only Tinder date.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you matched with him, did you know who he was?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
actually saw him 2 years prior here at the Comedy
Mm-hmm.
Store, and I remember him following Chris Rock.
Oh wow.
It was when Chris Rock was like hosting the Oscars that year.
Okay. Yeah. I remember him coming in for
And
that.
I remember thinking, wow, like he is amazing. I
Yeah.
didn't really know Bobby as a stand-up as much as I knew him more of like the Mad TV
Mhm.
sketch guy. And I thought he was amazing. And I actually found him really attractive.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think too much of it.
Mhm.
When we swiped right, we decided to meet
What'd you guys do on your first date?
coffee
Uh-huh.
during the
Daytime?
day. Yeah.
That's
Safety
cute.
first.
Was that your idea?
Yeah. And
That's-
I didn't even take him to the coffee shop right next to my house. I took him to the one further just in case he was a creep.
Wow.
Just in case he was another one who would, try to parlay
Uh-huh.
his fame into just being a fucking
douche.
douchebag.
Did he come meet you in Long Beach?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
During the day, and he had a lot of eye crust.
Wow.
I remember having a lot of. It was 1 p.m. and he had a lot of eye crust, and I thought, oh my god, he must have just woken up.
Did you tell him?
Yeah, it was like I remember
You
trying.
fixed
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That's so cute.
And then we gallivanted around Long Beach to different vintage shops and
That day?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then we just, I don't know, we just couldn't stop liking each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really just easy and nice, and like we had known each other for in like a previous life or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So then, and then you guys, when did you move in?
Very quickly.
Quickly. Okay.
But I kept my apartment in Long Beach for a whole year, paying rent like a dummy. No one was living there, and just in case, things fell apart.
That's smart.
But I didn't move. Well,
Did you go back there ever?
I did one here and there, but I remember I was so resistant about the idea of going to Hollywood or even coming to the Comedy Store with him, because I'm like, that's his place of power.
Oh, really?
He's gonna flex.
That's cool that you felt that way, because I see a lot of girls, who are with comics coming here, and I think like a lot of, but you're not really like, you're not a dumb bitch.
No, well, because of
You're a
belly
cool
button
girl.
piercing guy
Yeah.
taught me many lessons,
Oh,
valuable lessons at 16. After I wasn't enamored with the idea of what I thought.
You don't give a
yeah.
fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
That's cool.
So for 3 months, he drove down to Long Beach every day. Yeah, and so
Oh my god.
I wanted to get to know him on my turf, because I knew that if I had gone to the Comedy Store the second night that we knew each other, he would flex. He would assume that I would be impressed. I probably would have been more impressed.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be me really liking. I would
not getting to know like the real him, and more
Yeah.
like the Bobby Lee that's like the
Yeah.
performer,
yeah.
so to speak.
And so but 3 months after him coming to Long Beach every day, finally I was like, all right, I'll spend the night at your house. I'm finally agreeing to this. And I never left.
It took 3 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
You're really good at like dating and
Well, I was really busy at that time. So much of
Oh,
my life
okay.
was in Long Beach.
Were you a nurse?
I was finishing up nursing school.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I remember him telling me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of my friends back home are nurses.
In
In
where
New
are you?
York.
Oh, you're from New
Yeah,
York.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. How did
Yeah.
you end up in Hawaii? Just for college?
I went to college there, yeah. I didn't get into any other schools. That was the only school I got into because I
So
was
U of
partying.
H?
First, I went to Chaminade, which is like a smaller private Catholic Marinist school, which was just really easy to get into.
Yeah.
On Oahu and Honolulu, and then UH was like right down the street, and then I switched to UH after like
Oh.
a year.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you go to like a really a fancy school in New York?
Growing up,
Yeah.
public school.
Oh, public
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
I feel like your essence is very much like my good friend Asa Akira's.
Oh, really?
'Cause she's a New Yorker.
Is she?
Yeah, but you have very similar stories, like sort of fucking up really early
Yeah.
on, but being very bright. Because I find her
Uh-huh.
to be one of the brightest people I have ever met. But she comes from good stock. Her
I've
family's
heard
from, like,
that.
diplomats.
I used to see a lot of posters of her at the video store in Hawaii.
Yeah, but she is such a force in the adult entertainment
Yeah.
industry.
Is she still active?
She sort of. She
Or more
runs
like a
her own
personality?
Pornhub page now,
Okay.
but she's slowing down. I don't think she does. She films in like any big studio stuff anymore. She does her own stuff.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to anymore. She's Asa Akira. She
Right.
has such a massive name, but also she's just brilliant writer.
Yeah.
So funny.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have that same essence of being from the East Coast, being getting into drugs really early.
Yeah, I
And-
don't know anything about her. Where in New York is she from?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just but she went to I think a private school there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Westchester, which is the suburbs outside of New York City.
I think
So-
she's from the city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you guys started your podcast, you guys started it together.
I started it by myself.
Okay, so how did that all happen?
So I did 10 episodes by myself. And
Was there other podcasts at the time going on?
Yeah, we had been doing another podcast with Asa Akira actually, and
Oh.
another artist named Dave Cho, and we had been we were regular guests on their show, and that's what planted the seed in my head because I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to be a nurse anymore.
Yeah.
I better get up and do something.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, don't know if I'm going to be great at this, but let me just buy some mics. I got a really like cheap $40 mics.
Uh-huh.
And I remember recording everything on GarageBand and editing all
Yeah.
myself because I
Wow.
didn't know much. Occasionally, Bobby would join me.
Yeah.
And we did 10 episodes of my first podcast, which is called The Calamity.
Oh.
And
I feel like I've heard of that.
I deleted everything off of
Okay.
there.
Then maybe I just know the word calamity.
Oh, because that's my handle now.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So you have seen it somewhere.
Okay. That's okay.
And then after a while, Bobby, after doing it with Bobby for a couple times, just between us, he was like, "Whoa, this is actually kind of fun."
Yeah.
And at the in the comfort of my home,
Uh-huh.
and this is something very easy for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "All right, cool. Do you want to go legit? Because I will set up a studio, buy the mics." And he was like, "Yeah, I want to do it with you."
So were you like a very technological person
No.
at the time? So you just taught yourself everything?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I remember recording our second podcast episode and doing 2.5 hours with my mom and then it not being recorded. So that's when I brought somebody else in.
Yeah.
And said, I just need a third person because I can't keep looking.
I know.
Yeah. And I wasn't that savvy.
Uh-huh.
So eventually, but he bamboozled his way into it too because he didn't know shit either.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to be a part of it. So he had to learn everything from scratch. So he and I learned everything from scratch together. And we would edit together.
Yeah.
I just needed a third person.
Have you had any big guests that you were nervous around?
Yeah, all the time.
Like who?
I'm just an anxious person. So you seem like you'd not change who you are. I blink excessively.
Uh-huh. I have like
it's an
weird
anxious
tics.
tic. So you have tics too?
Well, sometimes, yeah. Or I just feel like I'm like weird. Sometimes like I'll get like a thing. I don't really have it anymore, but when I was younger I used to do this all the time.
Oh, I like that. That's a good
It's
look.
like comforting.
Yeah. Maybe it's
Touching
like an
the
acupressure
holes
thing.
in your face. No, I don't know. It was like a tick. And I used to always go like this.
Maybe that was just the cocaine, Chelsea.
Those are very like
Yeah, that's a very
But,
cokehead
like,
thing to do.
I feel like I do move. I don't know. But yeah, I've been like extremely nervous for some people. But the more time that has gone on, because I'm only like 77 episodes in. Like,
yeah.
So I think, it's been maybe a year and a half or 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
So you've been 4.5 years. But
Oh, I still get nervous all the time. And
like, who's made you?
And I truly, and I'm not saying this because, I'm fishing for any type of anything. I truly think I'm not made for the camera. There are people I think who shine bright on camera.
What?
Yeah, I think that I don't feel I'll never feel comfortable in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I fight our producer to make it a strictly audio podcast. Every day, even 4.5 years in, I'm like,
Really?
I don't even know why this is on YouTube.
You're
This is
so
bullshit.
hot.
I just don't.
And you're very pretty. You're both.
Thank you.
You're
but
not. Yeah.
I don't. It's very taxing for me. Some people are very energized by performance because they're very performative. You're a comic.
Yeah.
It's very energizing for
I have
Bobby.
that. I want to be like, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I die a slow death on the inside. It's very agonizing for me, especially when there's a big guest. So I don't know
Yeah.
what to do with my face. So I just blink excessively.
Like-
yeah. If you run this back,
Yeah.
just count
Have
how many
people
times you
noticed?
Yeah, all the time.
And they're right. Has anyone made like a compilation of you blinking a lot?
It
or
would just
something?
be they do drinking games.
Okay.
Yeah, my eye. I don't know. It's not even dry eyes. It's just a tick. It's an
Yeah.
anxious thing.
Well, the fan has been blowing in my eyes the entire time, and it's been watering them.
Yeah.
And this has happened to me before, and I finally realized it because sometimes I'm like, why do I feel like I want to cry right now?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, it's the fucking fan hitting me in the eyes. So I feel like it's been watering my eyes. So I feel like
You're fine.
Really?
You're blinking way less than me.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
Who's freaked you out before?
Just about everybody. I mean, we had Rob Schneider last week.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it was blink central. I was like, oh, my eyes were. It was like a seizure.
Yeah.
We had Jordan Peele on. That was really scary. I find it scary when someone is really intelligent. I feel like a peasant next to them.
Me too.
And I don't know what question to ask. And then you overthink it in your head. And by the time you ask the question, you're like, oh, you just come off either so fangirly or you're just straight up stupid. You just sound stupid.
I have that too. I get like really worried about sounding stupid in front of certain
Yeah.
people.
But Yeah, and I don't think that'll ever not be a thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I always ask our producer, I'm like, why don't we get someone like Bill Nye or Neil, Neil
He would
deGrasse?
do it.
But then I would just die. I would be so nervous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I want, but then I don't want it.
You'd
So-
be like, sodium chloride. Hi.
Hi. And that would be a nightmare for me.
Do you have any like dream guests that you want?
My dream guest before he passed away was Anthony Bourdain. That would have been an absolute dream for me.
Yeah.
Because I
He's
feel,
so hot.
do you know how like you see somebody on TV and for a fact that you're kindred spirits, or
Yeah.
maybe it's just a delusion, but you're like, I feel like I would just gel with that person.
Yeah.
Or maybe a lot of people felt that way about him. That's why he was Anthony Bourdain, because he was very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
But him for sure, and he
Yeah.
kind of looked like my dad. So
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Damn, you had a hot dad.
yeah, my dad was old though.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in 1924.
Wow. How old was he when he had you?
60 something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a paleo baby. I think that's what they're called.
What's a paleo baby?
I wish there was more literature on this, but I truly think that old dads make for defunct babies. I think that if you're an old dad, I want there to be studies done on dads that cream pie young moms. Old dads that cream pie young moms.
Theo Vaughn's dad
Right.
was 70.
Right. Yes, we talk about this all the
That's
time.
crazy.
And I have another friend who is Jacques Cousteau's son. He's like a famous scuba diver.
Okay.
But his dad was older, and him and I were talking about like the same
Yeah.
thing. We were like, I think that I have a lot of both mental and physical ailments that I think comes from having an old dad.
Oh, interesting. Like what he passes down in his sperm at that time because he's old?
I think he just there's something to do with old sperm.
Okay, so you have to stretch a lot.
Yeah, because my sister and I both have like heart problems.
Okay.
We have a lot of like weird
Aches and
autoimmune
pain.
stuff.
Oh, really?
Hmm. So, or maybe I don't know. What are your thoughts on old dad? Like Larry King. Do you think his sperm is just as viable at 80,000 years old versus if he were to have shot it in somebody at 20?
I don't. Yeah, I thought it's like very like slim to like I thought that like their sperm can't carry up the
What do you mean, no propulsion?
uterus. I don't know.
Is
I
it-
don't know how to
it's a slow
scientifically
swimmer.
slow swimmer.
But I
because
was a
I've actually
swimmer.
been so you swam pretty.
Yeah.
You brushstroked up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of pregnancy stuff lately because I want to get pregnant next year.
You do want to get pregnant.
Yeah. So I've been like researching a lot of stuff about like all of that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I feel like I read that like older guys, it's very, it's like almost a miracle, right? Considered.
I always thought that, sperm was, you could impregnate someone at any age. I just don't know, how healthy that sperm is. It just doesn't seem, it doesn't make sense in my mind for the body to deteriorate in all levels except for, the viability of sperm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
Somebody show me
Do you wanna
literature
have-
on that. Kids?
Yeah.
No,
Really?
but Bobby does. So it's a big debate around.
You'll
the
have
house.
to.
Oh no.
Really? Why not?
Because I do so much now. I carry a lot
Yeah.
of the workload of just day-to-day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as much as he'd be a very fun dad,
Yeah.
I don't know if unless he gets me like a night nurse and all of that, it
Yeah.
would be really, really difficult, I think. Because
Yeah.
I carry a lot of like the weight of just day-to-day
Right.
living, cooking, cleaning, animals. And
What do you like to cook?
Wait, you cook, huh?
Yeah, I do. I cook mostly pasta stuff though. That's like my
cook
favorite
pasta.
stuff, but I
Yeah.
cook other stuff.
Yeah, I cook a lot of like Asian dishes, I guess.
Yeah.
I make some Korean dishes. I make Filipino food.
Uh-huh.
Just about anything.
What's the
I can
good trick
cook.
to cooking rice?
Rice cooker.
Should I just get one of those?
Yeah.
Does that just save everything? Because
Of
I feel like I'm always fucking rice up.
No, I don't understand how people can live without a rice cooker in their home, truly. When I first met Bobby, I questioned his level of Asianness because he didn't have a rice cooker.
Wow. Okay.
I was appalled.
Yeah.
I've had a rice, no matter how poor we got, we had a rice cooker. And we had
Yeah.
a rice dispenser that measures exactly, you just press down on it, it gives you the exact amount. All Asian households have this.
And it's like you fill it with a line, and then you fill the
Yeah.
water up to a
And
line.
know your ratios.
Okay.
The trick is if you're going to cook brown rice or wild rice, I would probably do stovetop because a lot of like the conventional rice cookers
Yeah.
only really cook white rice. They can cook the other stuff, but it gets
Yeah.
very bubbly and messy. But
Do
know
you-
your ratios,
do you-
1-to-1. If it's Cal roast rice, know your what kind of rice you're dealing with.
What kind of rice do you like the best?
I like Cal roast. I like jasmine.
What's caloros?
Cal roast is a little bit stickier, shorter grain.
Is that like okay.
Jasmine's very aromatic.
Yeah.
It's not that short of a grain, but know your water to rice ratio, and that's it. But
Do you
you
put
just
a little
press the
butter
button
in?
down. No, you
Okay.
can after.
Yeah.
But no, just put 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water, press the button down. That's all you have to do.
I love it.
There's no
All
trick
right, I'm
to
gonna
it.
get one.
Yeah.
I'll ask for one for Christmas. From
Yeah, no, I'll
Stephen.
get you one.
Really?
Yeah, because I know the good brands. You have to go Tiger or a real like Japanese brand. There's a lot
Okay.
of other ones that are like, you don't want to go with an American
Okay.
brand. They don't know how to make rice cookers.
Okay.
You got to go to like an Asian market.
Yes.
I'll get you one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Right?
I guess that's it. I think we've talked.
We covered
so
so
much.
much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Is it too much?
No, it was great.
Okay, good. I'm
yeah.
glad. I'm
Thank
glad.
you for coming on, and then
You'll have to come on ours soon.
that would be fun.
Because I think it was really easy to talk to you.
Yeah.
And believe it or not every guest is easy
Really?
to talk to. So yeah, this was very easy, and I'd be happy to have you on ours.
I love that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And then just shout out your social.
I'm on all social media, actually not Twitter, at Calamity K.
Great. And then please remember to subscribe, rate, and review the Chelsea Skidmore Show. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.